everybody. I am your host, Ola, a.k.a. Chalk1, alongside Tim, a.k.a. Darkness429, for Battlefield Podcast, episode 135. It's a wonderful sort of late summer, early fall weekend, and we have with us a guest. If some of you longtime viewers or listeners will remember Al, a.k.a. Poco Loco. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Okay, so basically in this episode we're going to be talking about a couple things. We now have all the information, or most of the information, about what's going to be released for Battlefield Premium members in the month of September. So we're looking forward to that. And we also will have an Armored Kill review brought to you by Epwna from Battlefielder.com. She played it on the PS3, recorded 6 or 7 minutes worth of review footage for us, so we'll play that for you in a bit. And we're going to basically talk about the September 4th patch. We've kind of narrowed down the list of patch notes to what we thought were the most interesting points. As usual, it's a huge list of changes, and we'll talk a little bit about the ones that we thought stood out. And we'll see what your opinion is on it as well. So, but why don't we get started with the news?
And now for the latest Battlefield news.
So, Tim, I think after the August issue with the premium content, I think there were a lot of people upset.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think DICE have taken the step this time around to basically at the very beginning of September to say this is what you're going to get, and this is when you're going to get it. At least for most things, they have released a date or even a rough date, so people aren't going to be surprised as to what this great bonus content is. And then a lot of people are upset that it's some artwork, which I thought was okay,
exactly.
But there's a lot of
there was a lot of speculation that went around. There was a lot of like, well, we might get this, we might get that. Well, I hope we get this. So it's glad that they're telling us exactly what we're going to get in the month of September.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to get, obviously, and some of you will already have it if you're on the PlayStation 3, is Armored Kill. That came out on September 4th for PS3 Premium members. It's a little messy with the releases now because there's so many different variables. Obviously, if you're a Premium member, you get it 2 weeks earlier. If you're a PlayStation 3 Premium member, you get it an extra week earlier still. So the end result was basically PS3 Premium got it September 4th. Premium members on the Xbox or PC are going to get it on the 11th, which is Tuesday. And then everybody else will get it on September 25th, 2 weeks after that. The other thing that we've already got are 5 premium exclusive Armored Kill flavored dog tags that are unlocked via assignments. So there's 5 of those. We've already been hard at work at those.
They're very nice.
They're
unique.
Yeah.
They go on the left dog tag now instead of the right one, because a lot of our dog tags, they all are the right ones that show off different things, but these go right next to your name, which are really neat. I just unlocked the armored superiority.
They all go. Oh, I didn't know that. I noticed that they have a new basic one, a black basic one on the left.
Yeah, it's that black carbon fiber, but these are the same idea. That the black carbon fiber, and they have a gold icon. So if it's the armored one, it's the tank, the IFV, the chopper, the jet, and then the transport Humvee.
So that's cool. So that means that I don't have to replace my Jack of all trades dog tag with the armored one. I can use them both, basically.
Exactly.
Very cool. I did not know that. So I'm telling you, we always learn something new on this show. That's great. And I think the one thing to be pointed out about these dog tags as well is that they're not nearly as complicated as the ones we got a month ago with Close Quarters, or after Close Quarters, I guess. They're not, 50 main battle tank kills. That's not a huge ask for most people, especially, obviously they're geared towards Armored Kill, so it's all about armor and repairs and IFV kills, helicopter kills. I think the hardest ones for me are going to be the jet kills. What about you guys? What do you think?
The jet one isn't that bad. It's 50 kills the jet, and then to kill the attack helicopter or the scout helicopter. Just depends on how many people are playing in the server and how good you are with the jet. I think the hardest one's going to be getting the transport ride one, because you have to get 50 kills in a jeep, boat, or a transport helo, and then 50 squad driver assists. I think that's going to take a long time. You have to sit in the Humvee or the transport helo for a while.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get any of those because I don't fly a plane, and I'm just a ground pounder. I like just infantry only, so I let everybody else fly.
All right, we got 4 other things that we're gonna get.
We do. We're also going to have the Armored Kill strategy guide, which I never actually used any of the strategy guides that they've sent out. Are they of any good?
Well, they released one for close quarters when that came out, and typically Prima, I guess, has pretty good guides. I've never been one to buy guides like that.
No.
Because you can usually find a lot of the tips and tricks online for free. But I was at Walmart actually the other day, and I saw a Prima guide for Guild Wars 2 right at the checkout, and it was about that thick. It must have been about 200-300 pages worth of stuff. And it's,
Wow.
I understand it for a game like that where there's sort of a lot of strategy and sort of undocumented stuff in there, I guess. But the close quarters one, I read through it briefly just to, I figured, oh, well, they're giving it to us, might as well have a look. It's just a giant PDF file, and what I never quite understood was that they release it fairly late into, well, I guess late. They say second half of September, but to me that's late because we'll be getting Armored Kill already. So by then you've probably figured it out. But nevertheless, it is kind of cool for those people who like to buy those.
We also have a double XP weekend coming up. It's going to be September 15th through the 16th, so get excited for that. Hopefully we'll...
Yes. That's what I live for.
Yeah, I actually didn't get to play as much as the last double XP weekend because Ola and I were playing Guild Wars 2. So
don't tell people that.
It's the only way I can catch up to you guys, to tell you the truth, because I really could play like on the weekdays. I'm always working, so when it comes to weekends, I try to catch up.
And then we have another premium event, but that's to be announced. They said it's going to be the second half of September. The other premium event we just had, it was the shoot, throw out your own map idea, right?
I guess I'm not sure what premium event would actually contain of. So I'm not sure what that will be. Maybe they'll do. The only thing I can think of similar to that they've done in the past is where they had a dice play with the developers kind of event,
right,
which basically turned into a giant. Everybody get out the knife, try to get a dice dog tag.
Right.
Yeah.
They might do something like that again. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
And last but not least, we are going to have another premium video, and that's going to come out the second half of September. The last premium video that we had by Noken and Roly the Poly was excellent. I thought that was a really good video. Well done.
Yeah, and one thing we didn't mention here is that they've released the Armored Kill launch trailer. So there was that last episode, we rumored that Roly the Poly was hinting at another video in a tweet.
The day after, and there it was.
Yep, and it looked great as always. I can't wait. I'm playing only on the PC, so my only experience with Armored Kill so far has been videos on YouTube, and it looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to trying it out on Tuesday. I think Tuesday night's going to be a busy night for a lot of
Very
PC
busy
players.
night.
We'll check it out. And now, speaking of Armored Kill, why don't we get right into Epwna's review? It's about 6 or 7 minutes long, so sit back and relax and see what Epwna thinks about it. Now, this is pre-recorded footage from the PS3, just so you're aware.
Battlefield Podcast. Spotlight of the Week.
Hello, Battlefield Podcast. Just getting a little Armored Kill review going. I am liking it. I've got the PlayStation Premium. I cheated. I only got Premium so that I could get the early access, but don't tell anyone. I'm liking it. Albor's Mountain. This is the first one that we're seeing right now. I think it's one of the biggest. I think the desert is designated as technically the biggest map ever, according to DICE. But Albor's is pretty good, and I liked it. I'm definitely a fan of the snow maps, and I like a lot of the details that they have with the little fishing village down there and whatnot. So I am a fan of Albor's. Now, I know a lot of people are having issues. I think the biggest complaints have been, one, that Conquest is quote-unquote boring because it's too big for consoles, and two, that attackers on Rush, as you can see here with the gunship, are overpowered, quote-unquote. And I would have to agree and disagree, because obviously I'm here raping faces with the gunship, because this mortar shell or whatever this cannon is on it is very powerful and deadly, but it's balanced because the gunship itself is not really that strong. If you have 2 engineers, all you really need are 2 competent engineers that are going at it with stingers. You need 5 stingers to take it out. Or if you have a halfway decent pilot that just makes 1 pass through and disables you, I mean, you're done. You gotta jump out. So I don't really think you can call something overpowered if it's balanced like that, in my opinion. I've only played with comms and friends, so obviously I've been able to say, hey, the gunship's up, get your stingers out and send some rockets at it. But I mean, I don't see how playing with randoms. I mean, when I was on bigger teams with less people that I was friends with, people were destroying it before I could even get my rockets away, because everybody knows you gotta take that shit down. It's not hard to catch on, because it is. So you can see, like, I never get combat efficiency ribbons, and yeah, it's a beast. So it's definitely a priority. It is annoying, it is deadly and powerful, but overpowered, in my opinion, it is definitely not. Now, this is Bandar Desert. It is the biggest battlefield map in history, or so says Dice, and it's pretty cool. I like it. I only played it on Rush, so I haven't really gotten the full effect, but as you can see here, there's a huge expanse of desert. But there's basically 2 groups of objectives, I think, on Conquest, and you gotta cross this huge desert, which is kind of a pain on foot, but what can you do? But a lot of the complaints about this one are with 24 players on console, it's just too sparsely populated for Conquest, and I can kind of see that happening. I played Death Valley, the night map, on Conquest, and it was basically just driving around, capping objectives, driving to the next one, capping that one, and then driving back to the one that you were just at and capping it, and not really that much shooting. There are, like, the inner objectives tend to have more infantry fighting and concentrated, condensed battles, but, if you're just circling around to the outer ones and capping them, you're not really gonna, I mean, you can go 10-15 minutes without even meeting an enemy or needing to use your gun, etc. Now, Armored Shield, which is the big, lush green one, is also huge. I mean, all the maps are huge. This is the first time I tried out the mobile artillery, and I was like, this is awesome! I really have no idea how to use the gun still, but I did like this map. I only played it a tiny bit, but I feel like you can tell that they kind of not desaturated, but put the saturation back on, because it's very green. It's not really the typical blue of the, as we see this very, very blue Death Valley map. But Armored Shield isn't the typical. Oh, there's my phone. Isn't the typical blue, like the blue filter over everything. So I don't know if they did that with all the vanilla maps and whatnot, but so yeah, this is Death Valley, the night map. It's basically just has more blue filter. I wouldn't really call it dark, but technically there's a full moon, so I guess they can still call it a night map. I tried to get this aerial view, acting like I did it on purpose. No, I'm just flying around like a noob trying to find places to go. But as you can see, this one is also huge, and it's kind of got the 2 groupings of objectives, like Bandar Desert. And then if you can see in the background the little plane icon next to the flashing sea, I guess that means the dropship is, the gunship, I should say, is currently circling over that objective. So I think that was kind of cool. I was trying to figure out why there was a little plane next to each letter, randomly, but I guess that's why. And cool, I get killed. Never hover in a chopper, guys. So I guess overall, those are my thoughts, and I think it's very fun on console. I think it's got more staying power. I don't know if people would like it more than close quarters on console. In my opinion, I like it more, and if I had more time, I would be playing it more. So I have to agree a little bit with people saying that it's a little too big for consoles. I mean, I don't think it's a problem if you like riding around in the vehicles and finding people. Like, there's no lack of action. It's not boring, but on some of the bigger maps, like the desert and this Night Valley map, it can get hard. It can get a little slow, but it's always fun. I think it's fun. I think attackers have maybe a few more vehicles than they maybe should, But I think it just adds to the team play, the communication. Like, you got to be on point talking to your squad on console. On PC, it might be a little more difficult, but hopefully, since they have the built-in squad system, LOL, that I usually just use TeamSpeak, but hopefully you'll be playing with friends and you guys will be able to coordinate that. It's really not hard to take down the gunship, and you just got to be engineer heavy on defending. So those are my thoughts, and hopefully you guys didn't mind my rambling, and you've enjoyed playing Armored Kill, or enjoyed watching videos and listening to people talk about it. And hopefully I think it'll be excellent on PC. I think it's really tailored towards PC gaming with the number of players up to 64, and I don't know, I'm really excited. I like it on console, and I think I'm going to like it even more on PC, so I'm excited. And I'll catch you guys later.
This is the Battlefield Podcast. No wires needed. www.battlefieldpodcast.com.
The little technical hiccup there. I figured out now why sometimes when I play videos on here, it pops, and I think it's the slowness of my hard drive or something. When I'm doing a local recording like I'm doing now, when I do this show, I actually stream it and I also record it locally so we can put it on YouTube later. That seems to be the issue, so I just stopped that there. Again, thanks to Epwna for recording that footage. It really makes me look forward to Tuesday.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It looks great. What about you guys? What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I wanted to see more like what the C-130, the big plane, looked like. They just only had like that one view with the with the thermal. I guess that's what that was showing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder there will be more like artillery and stuff on there, not just one. I hope.
Well, there
I
is
can
that
imagine
second
everybody
seat.
fighting for the. Oh, there is.
The second seat, which is just basically the defensive position, I guess, to launch flares and AA guns. I haven't really seen. I'm sure there's stuff on YouTube, but I haven't seen it too much yet. What concerned me a little bit is that it's not that difficult to take that thing down, from what she described. So,
Right.
and I can understand on the consoles with 24 players that maybe some of those maps are a little too large. So.
Wow.
Yeah, she did a really good job with the review, and that made me really excited to play on Tuesday. So.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Now, if we talk a little bit about the patch, that came September 4th. DICE does this with every DLC release. They have a big new patch just prior to the release. And they released, the typical list of 100-odd bullet points and changes. What I figured, we'll go through the sections, but I've only filtered it down to what I thought was most interesting. They always group them. So the first section that they had was weapon tweaks. And then they say that they fixed a lot of reload times to match animations. I don't know if that's going to affect what I've seen so many times where you get killed and then in the kill cam you can see the guy reloading and shooting at the same time.
Shooting at the same time.
Yeah.
Now that's like the third person reload animation. I don't know if they're talking about the first person one. I still notice that even after this, if you're in the guided shell, sometimes on the guided shell on a tank, before you have actually a full lock, you can shoot. It doesn't launch it, but it goes through the animation. So
the tank comes, shoots air out.
Yeah,
it looks like
exactly. So that clearly hadn't been addressed. But they also reduced the M93R's damage and range. That was my pistol of choice. So I'm sad.
Oh, that is kind of sad, but it's still a really good pistol. I was just using it the other night, and it did pretty well.
Good. 12 gauge buckshot close range damage has been slightly increased. I thought it was always pretty good, but I guess that's useful. They have increased the bullet velocity for the coax heavy machine gun on tanks, which I think is good. We talked to Daskro about this last week, that it wasn't really a very valuable unlock because the bullets are traveling so slowly.
Right.
Tim, tell us a little bit about. They've tweaked a lot of recoil and stuff on weapons.
They did, and the biggest one that we kept getting teased about was the M16A3, because a lot of players like using the M16. It's a very favorable gun with assault class, and they have increased the recoil on it. Before it was pretty much just a straight shooter, it was the perfect gun to use. But it seems now that the M4A1 has also gone through that recoil increase as well, but the M416, the other assault rifle, Yeah, that one is now the new assault rifle to use for the assault class.
Yeah, they've tweaked it to make it a little more, they say, to increase viable player choice in those weapons. So I guess they made that a little better.
And I used it all night last night, and it is perfect. It was a really straight. It was just a straight shot. I was close quarter. It didn't do as well because the fire rate was still a little bit slower than other rifles. But for medium to long range, it was excellent.
Yeah, the G36C was also tweaked, and that's been my go-to gun for the engineering class for the most part, especially on sort of the larger maps with sort of a medium-sized scope. You can, I love that. I'll have to try the M416 again. Dunkosaurus in the chat just mentioned, he was, by the way, he was in the helicopter and in a couple of the videos from Epwna in the review. He mentioned that the C-130 has 2 AA seats, and both the gunners have flares too. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, it should be good.
That's good.
Let's see what else did they do. They tweaked the AA, the handheld AA, so the Epwna and the Stingers to lock onto air vehicles at lower altitudes and longer distances.
I think that's going to piss off a lot of people who flies helicopters. I'd say that. It's been hard to get them down, though.
Yeah, but if you get a team of Stingers, it is annoying. It is really frustrating to play on that map when you have somewhat of an organized team of engineers that have all gone anti-air. It is very, very annoying. And someone in the Hequan in the chat just said it's still overpowered, and I have to agree with them. I think it's still very frustrating.
Well, especially when they have made some changes that are in the vehicle tweaks, where they've actually, and I'll skip ahead, they've removed the flares from the gunner seat in the attack helicopters. Which, well, their argument was that with the right combination of unlocks, so I guess they're saying with the ECMP, is that what it's called? I got a brain fart.
ECM.
ECM. I don't know where the P came from. Yeah, with the ECM in the pilot seat and the flares as the gunner, you could, I guess, technically do pretty well because you'd get the lock-on sound, you'd pop ECM. You could ditch below the radar, and you could still use the flares. Now, obviously, you'd have to communicate with your gunner, and I find that both ECM and flares are not all that reliable. There's been plenty of times where, you get hit. But the positive of them removing the flares is now I have another good reason to go back to thermal as the gunner, which is a really great unlock, especially against infantry.
That is a great tool for the helicopter gunner. Let's see. Laser detonator unlock on the Scout helicopter has been changed from pilot upgrade to a helicopter co-pilot. The Scout helicopter co-pilot can now operate the what do they call it? It's the same way that the third seat on the tank uses. They're able to go down to this other camera and lock on for the gunner. I find that kind of frustrating because you don't always get a full load in the Scout helicopter. Sometimes you're just by yourself. So it definitely diminished the range that you can lock on to other vehicles with the laser guided rocket.
Yeah.
So normally I sat on that seat and it did nothing. So now the person who sits on that seat is going to have a job basically, or did it always?
Right, you have to make sure that you already have it unlocked for the Scout helicopter. So if you have it unlocked and set up in your setup, then you can, when you get in the co-pilot seat, then you can then access the secondary camera, which will then act as a.
And I wonder if it's like 360. You can look anywhere, or
no.
I mean,
I
think it's within 180 degrees. I don't think you can go behind.
Okay.
But the biggest difference about it is the angle of attack, because you're basically now inside of a dome underneath the helicopter, so you can't look quite straight ahead. It's almost more like the TV missile in the attack helicopter. So that's probably the biggest change. I was a little annoyed because I just unlocked Blazer Painter and Scout helicopter, so I literally got to play with it twice. But it is true. It is really powerful. If you have two engineers to just fix you against small arms fire and stuff like that, you can laze and take down anything, any vehicle,
nice.
without having to do much. So now, and the fourth seat was always useless in the Scout helicopter because the dude would just sit there. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't even shoot with your handgun or nothing. So it gives it some purpose, which is good. I like it.
All you can do is just watch the guy fly the helicopter. I thought it was just cool. Just watch him look around, look up and down. And it's like, okay, what do I do here?
Yeah, I actually never looked. I don't know what the outside animation looks like of the guy sitting. Because before he was just, sitting in the cockpit and the head would move if you're moving the head. But
Right.
I don't know what he does now. If it goes in down, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing now. We'll have to check that out. The other thing that they have changed is, and this is back to the weapon changes, Tim, but this was that I know you had lamented about before, is in Gunmaster mode, they've changed the MK3A1, the automatic shotgun, to use flechette rounds instead of frag rounds.
Good, because frag rounds were nerfed a while back with the what's the other automatic shotgun? Can't think of it. But anyways, so they nerfed it down because it was a really deadly weapon. So then when we play Gunmaster, it was really hard. You had to get a lot of splash damage. But now with flechette rounds, that makes it a little bit easier to progress through the ranks in Gunmaster. So that's nice. Yeah, use S12. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the dreaded always banned weapon on Metro when it was so powerful, because you could just spray it down a hallway and get like 10 kills just by splash.
You could snipe with it. When the Spas 12 with the frag round first came out, when the infrared camera was a viable scope, you could sit on the other end of a map and snipe people with the frag round. So it is kind of nice they nerfed it, but when they first introduced Gunmaster with the jackhammer and the frag round, it was really hard to get past that gun.
Yeah, I know. I think people had. It was difficult to get past that one. That's for sure. The other big change that they made to vehicles, and again, a lot of these changes are geared towards armored kill, is that on a tank, the reload behavior is now different. So you couldn't just switch from your main gun to your secondary, say guided shell, without having to reload, essentially. So now you actually have to wait. You used to be able to pop off 2 rounds in rapid succession just by, a regular shot and then switch over, or actually what you'd probably do is do guided shell, shoot, switch over to regular shoot again, so you'd launch 2 shells pretty much right one after the other. Well, I thought that was great, but
I don't know.
It was a great tactic. And it's really odd because they changed it with the tank, but you can still, with the IFV, you can still switch back and forth from either if you're using the normal gun in the tow, the normal gun and its secondary rounds, the HPE rounds.
Whoa.
You can still switch back and forth, and there's no time delay like there is in the tank. So it's a little interesting. Dasker actually did a video on it yesterday or the day before. So it's definitely very frustrating. It definitely changes up the tank tactics. Of how to play, because you're switching back and forth with it, but you have to wait until the gun is reloaded. It makes it more realistic, because in a real tank, you're not going to switch back and forth from one round to the next.
Well, theoretically, the same shell goes, or different shells still go through the same barrel.
Exactly.
I could understand on an IFV that the tow maybe comes out of some other hole. That I don't know how they would imagine that, but I guess that would be interesting. It does make it different. It affects everybody the same in the tanks. So it's just a matter of getting used to. I find that I still have success killing other tanks. Now, you mentioned yesterday, Tim, when we were playing, that there's still that bug with the Abrams and the T90. What is it? The T90, if you hit it in the front, takes rear damage?
Yeah, exactly. Our buddy Dasker was talking about it last week. And I noticed yesterday, M1 Abram T90 going head-to-head, and M1 Abrams shoots the T90, and in the front, it takes rear damage. So I got hit once in the front, and I went down to, 20%. It was ridiculous. But it doesn't seem like they addressed that in this patch, so hopefully, the next one will have that fixed.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fair. Obviously, that's an issue of balance, because now one team's tank is stronger than the other, kind of. But they also tweak damage that helicopter and jet rockets do to helicopters, jets, and infantry.
Which I've noticed. I actually was playing the jet today, and doing a couple strafing runs on just areas that had just infantry. I could notice that I was actually getting kills, where before you'd have to be right on. There was no splash damage. You just had to be directly on the infantry unit, or you wouldn't get the kill. So now it's a little bit easier to. It almost reminds me of how BF2 was with the jets, where the main gun got a lot of splash damage. It's nice. It increases the usability of the jet.
Well,
So wait. Let me. You're saying that the jet it's much easier to get ground kills
Yeah.
now? I thought it was always because I used to get killed all the time by a jet. I'm like, what the? How did he do that? Now it's even easier.
it's almost like it's like, did they need that? But
they need to make tunnels now because that's where I'm going to be underground.
one thing that they did tweak on jets was also that they weren't getting top attack damage bonuses on laser designated targets. I assume, does that apply to the?
That applies to the laser designated rocket or missile.
But is that the one though that you launched just from the jet itself?
Yeah, that's the one.
Good,
Yeah, it's like the last one.
Because I liked that one, but it was so frustrating because you do a high pass over and you lock onto something, you shoot it, and you barely disable the thing.
Exactly.
And you're so vulnerable in that position because you're just flying slowly. I mean, it just gets shot at everywhere.
And the camera doesn't even help you with knowing what's going on around you.
No.
It's almost a direct bottom view of what's underneath you.
It's very similar to solo TV missile guiding in a helicopter. Without, obviously the jet doesn't fall out of the sky, but it's
kinda, yeah. It's kind of like how in BF2 with the bombers, with the two-seater bombers, they kind of just took it and put it into one with the fighter jet.
Right.
But it's odd. When I first got it, even up until the patch, I haven't tried it yet. But it was a hard thing to use. It didn't make sense because you wouldn't even get vehicle disabled half the time. It would land next to it, or it would hit it, and nothing would happen. So I'm glad that they actually addressed that issue.
See, I'm such a bad jet pilot that I used that unlock just because it was the coolest one around. Heat seekers, I can't hit shit with. Rockets, rocket pods, come on. I just make a bunch of noise on the ground and then crash into it. That's probably what happened there most of the time. But so hopefully it will be better. Better than that. Yeah, I'm typing in the chat. Yes, I am. The other thing that they added, I'm glad that they finally did this, is they added dog tags for Conquest Domination and Grandmaster winners. Yeah, what did I say? Dog tags?
Dog tags. Yeah. Ribbons and medals.
Ribbons and medals. Which of course is a piss off because I've won Gunmaster a whole whopping twice in my life, I think, and now I have to do it again just to get the ribbon ones. I have all the ribbons. Now I need to do this again.
You should sign into the game and they'll give it all to you in one shot, right? Because you did it already.
Yeah, they don't go back.
That's sad.
It's really interesting though, because I don't know why they didn't do this when Close Quarters first came out. I don't know why we had to wait so long until now to get them.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many rounds of Conquest Domination and Gunmaster. So why not award the people for those things when you already have tags and medals for Team Deathmatch and Conquest?
Well, we thought even for Conquest Domination, even if they just used the regular Conquest ribbons,
right,
close enough, it would have been something. And we always thought Gunmaster, you should get a reward. It's probably the hardest thing to win a round in because it's easy to win a round in any other mode, with the exception of maybe Squad Deathmatch or something like that, or Team, Squad Rush maybe. One of those where it's just you and a couple people that you're relying on. But for the most part, if you play Conquest or Rush, if your team's good, you can pick up a winner's ribbon, no problem. Gunmaster is all you. So
yeah, that's a lot of skill. So definitely should be a reward for that.
They've also fixed the accuracy dog tags to now show the correct stats. I haven't checked on this yet, but I always thought at some point that the accuracy dog tag was kind of cool because it shows how many headshots you've got. But it used to just track how many headshots you get that one round in the game. So every time you'd start the game, it would just say 0 headshots and then 1, 2, and not like 3,500 or however many headshots you've got. That's probably a lot, but
Have you noticed in some of the other dog tags that they talk about like armored kills or like how many other things you've done in the game? The numbers are astronomical. They're like 1 million kills or so many hours in the tank. I think someone had 144 million hours. And I was like, that doesn't make sense.
It's almost like it's tagging minutes or seconds or something silly like that.
Yeah.
It's not showing the right thing, I think.
Some of the things are still bugged.
What's your favorite dog tags that you wear currently, that you have equipped?
I think mine is the U.S. Marine one that I have, on mine now. But I see some really cool ones. The headshots. If you get a lot of headshots, you get that dog tag. So, but right now I think it's the Marine, the one I don't have, U.S. Marine one.
It's the favorite one that we wear, not the one that we have, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Okay, 'cause
I
have a
guess that
dice
you
dog
can.
tag.
Yeah, you have a dice dog tag, but you can't wear that.
No, sadly enough. I think the carbon fiber metals are the coolest ones. I really like those. They look really neat. They're premium tags, but they have a different look to them. They look really nice. So my favorite one is Jack of all trades, and then the new one I just unlocked, the main battle tank one.
I haven't got that one yet, Jack of all trades. How do you get that? You got to play everything at
You
one.
play everything
in one game.
No.
No.
It's like you get that dog tag for getting all the other dog tags that came with Close
Right.
Quarters.
Yeah.
It's the one where you had to get 500 kills with engineer, 500 kills with support. It was basically 500 kills with every kit, I think.
Right.
Okay.
500 or 350, something like that.
Let's see. It's 30 kills with the assault rifle, 30 kills with carbines, 30 kills with sniper rifles, 30 kills with light machine gun, and 15 kills with pistol. That's Jack of all trades. It wouldn't unlock until you got all the other ones. You had to have lifesaver, bullet provider, location scout, and wrench welder.
Okay.
Which one
I
was
think
the
you're
one
right,
that
Ola.
required 1,700 kills total?
Oh, that's the camo.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was
That's
even
only
more
for the
used.
dedicated.
Right, yeah.
That's only for the dedicated.
Yeah. Let's see, what else did they change? Obviously, we saw in the review of Armored Kill, you can now see the letters of capture points directly on the mini-map.
Oh, so nice.
Which is nice.
Yeah, because when the game first came out, I had to count because I was like A, B, C, D, E. Oh, okay, they're going for E. That F. Crap, they're going for F. So it's nice that now you can just look and see what diamond is. If you played long enough, you just memorize, in sequence, like, oh, that one's that one.
It saves me from, because you could always see them not on the minimap, but in the game, right? So it saved me from spinning around. Like, okay,
right.
Where's B?
I see. So it's where those little triangles were on the bottom, the squares. They're gonna have to have letters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
That's good. Because I always used to look at that only to see how many flags they had and how many flags I had.
I think that's probably what most people did, was just, to look down there. It is just more helpful. It's one of those things that probably should have been there from the beginning, but hey, I guess better late than never. They fixed the damage indicator, which showed in the wrong direction if the damage dealer was dead. Now, I've never...
Thank God.
I don't know if that's... I've been killed many times before where the damage was saying it's coming from this side, and you turn that side and you're actually being shot from the other side. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it or not, but...
They also, in UI tweaks, they fixed clint tags and name tags and kill card, which is nice. Because that was kind of buggy. Sometimes you wouldn't actually, like, the tag name would be their user identification number or something like that. Which is a little frustrating. It just didn't look right.
Well, it was hard because a lot of times, I don't know, maybe this is just me, my vanity, but I'd get killed by somebody and I was like, it doesn't seem right. And then I want to look in the scoreboard to see where that person was, right? So on the kill cam you see it's so-and-so, and then you have to look on the scoreboard and it's hard to find because that's where the tags, the clan prefixes are, and this is all different. They still don't show up in all the places. I think if you just look at a person, it doesn't show them, or someplace, or maybe in the chat or in the description, somewhere it still doesn't show them. And I wish it would just be consistent and always show the full name of the person, including whatever prefix they've got, just to make it easier on my sanity.
Let's see, what else did they fix? They added mortar strike explosions are now shown on the HUD for the shooter, which is nice. So you see where your mortar is actually hitting, and then you can kind of adjust. But mortars are still an odd thing to use in game because they've been nerfed, so they don't have the full damage that they used to. I don't enjoy using them anymore. I never really enjoyed using them from the beginning, just because it was very difficult to actually hit something, just because of the amount of time it took to fire and then hit something.
So now you see like a little something in the HUD now, like.
Yeah, it comes up as some type of marker that indicates where the shot hit on the ground.
Oh, that's good, because now at least you can adjust to where you really want to go.
Right.
Sometimes, like, it's like when there's vehicles moving and you want to like make sure that you want to shoot it first, know it's going to be there, and wait till the vehicle get close to the area to time it and shoot it again. That's pretty cool. You missed one though. You missed the one that I hate the most. Okay, that they finally fixed. When you die and they respawn you again, and you don't have that menu in front of you. It says here that they fixed that.
Yeah.
Thank God. Did you say that? Because I don't remember.
No, Tim. No, we skipped over that. But you're right. That's the one where you get respawned, but your spawn menu is still on the screen, so you can't move, and you're just stuck there, and nothing that you do works. You just have to hope that someone comes by and kills you.
Please kill me. Please kill me.
I hated that. Was the biggest one. I hated the most.
They've all fixed. This is a bug that I don't even know. I think I put this in here because it sounded so ridiculous. It says fixed bug where you could get an incorrectly calculated longest headshot with the EOD bot.
How do you do that?
What?
I don't know. It just seems like that was something that obviously was done incorrectly. I wonder if that was. Remember a while ago we had this tip that one way to get a kill with something you could. I think it was with.
It was how to get. Right, because you needed to get the EOD bot kill. You needed one EOD bot kill. So whatever it was doing is they were using their javelin.
Yeah.
And they'd fired at a tank and then switched to EOD bot, and then once it killed the tank, it would credit towards the EOD bot kill.
Yeah. So maybe if you did that with a sniper rifle somehow, and you managed to, even though you
that's got to be a really long. So apparently you'd have to shoot your gun, suicide, spawn in his engineer, and then switch to EOD bot. Like that's gonna be like a 1,000,000-mile headshot apparently.
Yeah, well, it's
and the bullet has a little rocket thruster in the back.
You got bullet drop. You shoot it straight up in the air and wait, and eventually it will come down.
Okay.
There's some comments from the chat about the mortar. Actually, is that, and that's probably true. It's not very useful at all in Conquest. I think in Rush mode it's a little bit more useful because you have a static target. You know, as the attackers, especially if you pop smoke. I think a lot of people, especially when they're playing as teams. To launch smoke using the mortar over larger distances. Because smoke on Rush and as an attacker is really useful to have. Yeah, and I've never used it with a mortar, but it probably is a really good tactic, actually.
Well, I can see how that works in Rush, because in Rush everything's in one line. You know, you go from start to objective, and there's really no outside boundaries for you to go. You just kind of go from start to A to B, and then you start all over again. So I can see why that would work, but like in Conquest, it doesn't work that well.
They've got a couple of fixes for the console specifically. They've added the map rotation settings to the preset list and detailed server info so you can see it. So basically, I guess that in the server browser on the console, you can now see all the relevant information. Which is good. And on the 360, they also, I like this, introduced a clickable promotional spot on the main menu.
Oh,
they put an ad in the game.
That's great. Didn't they also mention that they fixed some of the audio drops? Because that's been a big complaint for console users, the audio dropping in and out. And someone mentioned that it could be up to 10 seconds of drop before it came back.
Did they fix that?
I think it did say in the patch
that
list
good.
It's an audio drop fix. So.
Donkasaurus says it's still there.
Oh, that's a shame.
So. But yeah, they used to. I don't know if you guys ever played Battlefield 2142. There used to be a lot of ads in that game.
There were billboards in that game. There were actual billboards in that game.
There was a time when we were talking to DICE at the time we were doing the podcast. That's how long we've been doing this stuff, and we actually were lobbying them to let us put a billboard of the podcast in the game, because I was like, the whole idea then was, okay, we'll put ads in, but they'll be sort of relevant to the story and the theme, because obviously 2142 is in the future, and so they put in like, you know, I don't know what kind of ads they put in, but they put in some real world ads.
They were like Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
it was one of them. I remember that one, and some other like Axe. I think Axe was one of them as well.
Really odd. It was a very controversial topic. As you can see, it kind of, I guess, it hasn't really taken hold, which is probably a good thing.
I was a little afraid that they were going to do it in Battlefield 3. There was rumors of it, and then when I didn't see it in the beta, it kind of, you know, it was a sigh of relief. Just because it takes. I mean, I guess I could see it like in Metro, where they have like those posters plastered on the wall.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of like run by and like, oh, Coca-Cola. Ah.
Yeah.
So. But to have these large billboards that take up, you know, that are on the side of the road, so as you're driving down on, let's say, Caspian border, there's a tilted over, you know, broken billboard that has some type of product placement. It just kind of takes away from the ambience of the map.
Mm-hmm.
They can still do it in Battlefield 3, but it won't be obvious because there's a lot of junk everywhere. So you'll find a can of Campbell's soup open on the floor and you just kick it around as you're running. Or like in the water, you see like a box of Marlboro cigarettes in there floating.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it that way.
They could.
Well, they have gone through quite a bit of effort, actually, to make those boxes have, look like real boxes. They'll say things on it. They're usually, obviously, made-up names, and the posters are made up, but they look like they could be a real poster somewhere in a French metro station. So, I don't know. But the trash on the beach would be good. That's good. So now we've all played with this patch for a few days. I have to say I was a little worried at first when I read some of the changes, but you know what? You adjust pretty quickly. I haven't got any major complaints. Do you guys have any major complaints? And one of the reasons we have you on, Poco, is because you play, like you said, you're more of a ground and pound, you play a lot of team deathmatch. Every time I see you, you're in a team deathmatch server.
That's only because you guys are not on. So if nobody's on that I play with, I go to team deathmatch. And then when you guys go on, and then I'll follow you whatever games you play. But I do that just to try to get to try to get leveled up. That's why. Yeah.
Are there any... And we can open this up to the chat, too, obviously. Any changes that they should have made that they didn't? I guess the audio drop still happens, but it doesn't happen on the Armored Kill maps. So that's kind of a fix, I guess. But
I saw a lot of complaints beginning, the first night when the patch dropped. But that's like with anything, anything new. We don't, as humans, we don't like change. We like this static equilibrium. So, like you said, Olo, gamers, we adapt really quickly to change and just readjust game styles and tactics. But I like it all around. I think a lot of the fixes have been nice. I haven't found anything big that has made me want to, stop playing. It wasn't anything like the armor change when they played around with the armor a little bit, but I think all in all it's been good.
Yeah, and people were saying that they still haven't implemented dinosaur mode. I don't know if that's going to happen at any point in time, but
it was teased on Twitter a while ago. So maybe like right before Battlefield 4 comes out, they'll just have this one patch that puts in velociraptors everywhere.
Well, that's because DICE likes to. They troll people on Twitter. It's
they
funny.
like to stir the hype a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually great. One of the things that was posted in our forums by Grigola was actually that he didn't think that there was a whole lot that needed to be fixed, and I'll be honest, for the most part, I didn't think there was either. And one thing I want to do in the future is talk to somebody on this podcast, either maybe somebody from DICE or perhaps somebody from Simthic.com. Those are the guys that I guess help DICE out with the actual stats of weapons. Like when they say that they've adjusted the recoil rates on weapons, I'm curious, like how do you come up with that? Like why do it on that weapon by 0.003 of a percent or whatever? Like who comes up with this stuff? Because to me,
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's like where do these things come from? It'd be interesting to find it out in the future. I don't know. I guess what Grigola said was that the choppers are now so much more powerful killing machines. Now take out infantry way too easily. I always found that choppers took out infantry pretty easily, like right?
Yeah, you have a good pilot and a gunner, and they could run the whole map as long as you had two jets or a jet team being able to keep the opposing side away from you. You could run the whole map. I've seen gunners go 40 to 60 kills and 2 or 3 deaths in one map rotation. So it's frustrating. I mean, it's you can see it's a good tool at the same time for someone who's on the ground in the infantry position. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, and the helicopters are, they've, like you said, they've always been, if you work well together as a team, the thing that really neutralizes them, and that was something that that happened to us yesterday, is if the other team has good jet pilots and your team doesn't, jets can effectively neutralize helicopters just because, in my opinion, they're pretty easy to take down by a jet. And if you have a good jet pilot that doesn't get shot down easily by anything else, that sort of takes care of it.
As long as you can, I mean, if you're able to disturb the jet, fire, again, get it to fly away, that gives you a little bit of time to readjust. But like you said, if you have two jets running at the same time, it's hard to get away from them if you don't have a good team on your side. If someone's not running the jets, they're not running the AA, if the infantry's not running Stingers, you're pretty much done for the whole game. You're not going to be able to utilize the chopper.
Yeah. And we had talked to some jet pilots in the past, Clear Darks and Zanapi, who are sort of at the top of the leaderboards and there's really good jet pilots. And they've said that it's not really about killing the jet, it's about disabling the jet. And I don't mean disable as in disabling the vehicle, but neutralizing it to the point where it constantly has to run off and retreat. I did shoot down a couple of jets the other night with a tank, which is such a satisfying thing because
it is very good.
You can see the guy come in his jet, and if you time it right, obviously the tank shell will take out the jet. It's the best thing ever. But
right, I did a couple with canister shells. Canister shell doesn't knock them out completely, but it does disable them really well, and it kind of flips the jet over just a little bit. So that's a pretty cool thing.
So I guess all in all, patch pretty positive. I don't think they've broken anything majorly with this one.
Yeah.
Which is always a good thing because that tends to happen every once in a while. So they fix one thing and break a bunch of other stuff. And Armored Kill coming out in 2 days if you're a premium member. Another 2 weeks if you're not a premium member. I guess in retrospect, anybody who didn't buy premium and wants to get all the DLCs was really kind of a...
I actually noticed some people in my battle log that a lot of people were starting to buy premium now.
Well, it's still a good deal if you buy it now. If you don't have the previous DLCs, it's still the same good deal that it was before. So yeah, that's going to be coming out Tuesday, and we'll be playing, and we'll be looking forward to that. And we'll probably do the next podcast. I don't know if we'll do it next weekend or 2 weeks from now, but obviously we'll give you our opinions on Armored Kill as well. Maybe we'll do it 2 weeks from now, so everyone's had a chance to do that. Can't wait to figure out the C-130. It's gonna be fun. The maps look awesome. They look huge, and looking forward to playing it with 64 players. I hope though that there's going to be enough vehicles to go around for everybody. One of the things I think I mentioned, did I mention this on the last podcast, or did I just mention this to you, Tim?
No, yeah, it was just
to you, right? In the launch trailer, I think it was, they show right at the beginning, they show this group of tanks leaving the Russian spawn point or something, the main base. I'm thinking, that looks great, but they've cut out the part where there's 10 people on foot running after them going, need a ride,
Wait,
need a ride.
Need a ride, pick me up!
Because that's the worst.
Or a bunch of tanks all coming to a capture point, and they're all like jumping on top of each other trying to get the objective, which is another bad thing I can see happening in my head. So, but it'll be interesting to see all the funny quirks that are in an Armored Kill with 64-man server.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different experience. And it's going to be, hopefully it will give all those people that weren't happy with close quarters or that are more into the vehicle fighting, vehicle combat, hopefully it will give them what they're looking for. We'll definitely find out, and we'll let everybody know. Once again, I want to thank Battlefieldo.com for letting us stream on their Twitch account and for letting us post the episode on their website, and obviously for Epwna for taking the time to record the review for us. You can visit us at battlefieldpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at BFPodcast, Facebook and YouTube /Battlefield Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. This video will get posted probably tomorrow. And like I said, we'll be back in a week or two, and we'll all be able to talk Armored Kill because we've all have a chance to play it by then. I want to thank you guys for joining me on the show, as always. Thank you for taking the time, Poco.
No problem. Thank God my computer lasted.
Yes, you guys should have seen the trials and tribulations that we went through yesterday in preparation for this show. It actually worked out really well in the end. So it's been good. Thanks to everyone in the chat who's been contributing to the show and asking us questions and everything. So it's always great to have a lively chat there. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Until then, thank you.
Bye.